Good morning, Vietnam! I don't think that was nearly as good as Robin Williams. But welcome to episode 8 of the Black Sheep Podcast. I am your fantastic host, Jessica, and my hot Asian wife over here to my left.
I'm Jen.
Today's topic of discussion, which some of you are going to find very triggering, is body positivity.
I guess we should start with the disclaimer that this episode and all episodes are from our views, our hearts only, and not representative of anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And I've been fat. I've been fat, so...
Me too.
I mean, I feel pretty fat today, actually. I have my period. Jen's been baking a lot, so I'm definitely up probably about 7 pounds. So I'm feeling like I've got some of my own obesity issues going on right now. So,
well, we both have our own histories, and we're going to share more about our own histories, our stories as well, so we can give some context to our perspective. But we thought maybe we'd just start this podcast around talking about what body positivity means, and then going a little bit more in depth around our stories and how the culture around this is shifting. I'll leave it there. So why don't you read about the body positivity?
Okay, so this is from a website, Very Well Mind, and it is written, the topic is what is body positivity, and it's medically reviewed by an MD named Claudia Chavez. So you know it's real, and you know it's definitely advice you should take. Body positivity also means, get this, enjoying the body that you have and not beating yourself up over changes that happen naturally due to aging, pregnancy, or lifestyle choices. I already have to stop because I'm already irritated by this. I haven't even gotten past the first paragraph. And I'm already super irritated because I've been pregnant, and you know what? Eating chili from Tim Hortons and frozen pizza while you're pregnant doesn't help your baby, and it doesn't help you beat the odds of not becoming fat while pregnant. I didn't do myself any favors while I was pregnant. I worked 12, 14 hours a day. I didn't have any help. I was working in Toronto. It was not a great experience for me. But with that said, I can recognize that I could have made different choices. I could have made different, I had a lot of money. I could have ordered things. Like, I could have done things way different. It was just a matter of not being fully awake to all the things. Of course, you just can't do everything all at once. But like, that's my fault, and that didn't help. You're not eating for two. Your baby's the size of a fucking pea. And I'm eating like, you know what I mean? And you have all these women that are like, oh, I need to eat. I'm eating for two. It's like, your baby is the size of the pit of a fucking peach today. You don't need to eat 2 fucking Big Macs, okay? Guess what? Like, and women just get so fat. And I actually got up to, I think, 180 pounds in my last few weeks of pregnancy. So a lot of that was water for sure. But I'm like 130 pounds. So 180 pounds is very, very, very heavy. Like, that's absurd. And you know what? That was a bitch to get off. So I'm just speaking from experience. But when you read these things that tell women it's okay, it's infuriating because it's not okay. We should be teaching women that they shouldn't be getting fat. Your baby is the size of a fucking nut, and you don't need to eat that. You should eat this, because getting it off is going to be,
well, educating over nourishment and what is healthy versus just saying no, you're okay the way you are. Which,
yeah, exactly.
I get what they're saying.
You're not okay the way you are. I'm sorry, but this whole idea that you're okay the way you are is wrong. I've been fat, and I didn't feel okay the way I was. And I know that fat people out there do not get up in reality, look in the mirror and say, damn girl, I look good. Because they don't, and they know it. And that's why everybody that's fat tries to lose weight. There, that's a mic drop reel right there. Okay. So, Instagram played a pivotal role in the rise of the body positivity movement. In recent years, a number of magazines and companies have incorporated efforts to be more body positive in their publications and marketing efforts. Some magazines have stopped airbrushing models, while companies including Dove and Aerie have developed marketing campaigns incorporating body positivity messages. I've seen Lizzo do Calvin Klein, and I'll tell you right now that I will never buy anything Calvin Klein. Ever. Because if that's how I'm going to look in my Calvins, I don't fucking want them. I don't want to look like that. I don't want you to look like that. FYI. That's not attractive.
I think that we're normalizing unhealthiness.
It's not healthy.
It's just normalizing unhealthiness. I think it's taken it so extreme that we're body positivity is not self-love. It's not about self-love. Body positivity is taking it so extreme that it's inverting what is healthy and what's beautiful.
Is that because, like, I hate to always go back to my conspiracies, but is it to make everybody so unhealthy and unwell mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? Because if we accept every day, if we wake up and we just accept this is who I am and I'm not going to get any better and I'm just going to eat like shit, look like shit, and love myself for it, is that like the demise of a civilization? Is that when, China comes in to take over? I mean, what the fuck are we going to do? Everyone's just laying on their couch in their playing video games, super fat. They're just going to be like, take me to my cube. Like, they're like, sure, that's fine. Like, is that what this is about? Because I can't understand for the life of me where things went wrong. Like, it was never okay. Sure, like, we learned in the 80s and 90s, you don't make fun of people that are fat. Duh. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody that's fat. I've been fat. And anybody that knew me as a kid knew that I was chunky. And anybody that really knew me knew my mom was a fucking chunker. So I'm not here to judge anybody or say that I'm better than anybody. I've worked my ass off my whole adult life to learn about fitness and health and wellness. And I've come leaps and bounds from yo-yo diets and, self-hate, of course. I've come so far, but it's just hard to see people when you've come so far falling for these ideologies that are just so absurd that all of a sudden it's great to be fat. And having been fat, I know it is not great to be fat.
I guess we're going to be talking more about the reason why we're bringing this topic up is because it's taking a whole extreme shift, and it's diminishing, in my views, what self-love and what health actually is, and we're normalizing dis-ease, dysfunction, illness under the guise of body positivity. I don't think body positivity is really what it means anymore. I think it's taken a very extreme push into a different direction. And I think the focus needs to come back to what is health and what is self-love. Mm-hmm. I think you scrolled down too far, the top. Yeah.
Okay.
Higher. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the term body positive emerged in 96 when a psychotherapist and an individual who had been through treatment for an eating disorder founded the website bodypositive.org. The site offers resources and educational materials designed to help people feel good about their bodies by taking the focus off losing weight through unhealthy diet and exercise efforts. The body positivity movement in its current form began to emerge around 2012, initially focusing on challenging unrealistic feminine beauty standards. As the movement grew in popularity, the original focus on acceptance of weight began to shift towards a message that all bodies are beautiful. While body positivity has become increasingly popular, people continue to be confused about exactly what it means. Part of the reason why body positivity is so misunderstood is due to the fact that there are so many different definitions for what the movement means. Depending on who you ask, body positivity can mean appreciating your body in spite of flaws, feeling confident about your body, loving yourself, accepting your body's shape and size. Body positivity also means enjoying the body that you have and not beating yourself up over changes that happen naturally due to aging, pregnancy, or lifestyle choices. I mean, I have a hard time with a lot of this because, like, accepting your body's shape and size. Here's the thing. You can be 180 pounds and accept your body's shape and size, but you don't have to accept it. I mean, you could change it. Just because you're 180 pounds and your body is the shape of a fucking Oompa Loompa doesn't mean that it has to stay that way and that that's how you're best suited to be. I don't understand that. Like, not everyone's going to be a fitness model. I'm not even remotely close to being in a position to be a fitness model. Okay, but that's not my goal. My goal is to be healthy and to not be a burden on my children and society and my wife, and to live a healthy lifestyle.
I get the body positivity around appreciating your body and loving yourself. I get that. But and feeling confident. The where it starts to teeter for me is that it goes so far to the extreme that we are normalizing obesity. And we're nobody can say boo about anybody who's overweight now. Because now it's so extreme that we're seeing like anybody who says anything about health is fat phobic. And I think that is now becoming where we're normalizing being unhealthy. Like nobody can talk about being what's healthy anymore, or going to the gym, or eating well, or even our nation is so obese. Like the United States, like we are unhealthy nations. Mm-hmm. And so why don't we look at the bigger picture and look at, other cultures in the world, other countries in the world aren't our size. We blew up in the 70s. Our bodies all blew up in size. Like obesity is like normal now in our culture, which is really alarming. Whereas in other parts of the world, you don't see obesity. Like my cousins that live in Hong Kong, when they moved to Canada for university, they would say, can we go to Walmart to see because there's a lot of obese people that shop at Walmart. And I'm from Belleville, and that's where they were visiting, and I'm like, yep, that's 100%. But they're not used to seeing that. And so it's like culture shock for them coming here, because when I was in Hong Kong, you don't see a lot of obese people. In China, you don't see a lot of obese people. Like South America, you don't see a lot of obese people. So what's different about our nation? We have a lot of processed food here. We have a lot of chemicals in our cleaning products, in our clothing, in our food, in the sprays of the chemicals on all of our food. We are hormonally unwell here because we have so many, are they called xenoestrogens? Like everything is hormone disruptors for us too. So we are like a very unwell nation. And now we're using body positivity as a way to push how it's okay and that we can accept this. I think we're inverting what health standards are by pushing this view, because I think it's becoming too extreme.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I can remember in the 80s and the 90s, the food. Like, I remember the change.
Mm-hmm.
And because my dad was so fresh off the boat and my mom was so whatever here, it was like you could tell that they'd been moving towards the unhealthy diet over my mom's childhood. Like, you can tell that she was already like into McDonald's and hamburgers and ice cream. Like, she worked at an ice cream parlor when she was a teenager. You could tell that in the 60s and 70s, they were already starting to make the push for stuff. But in the 80s and 90s is when it it really, like, you did not see obese people back then like you do now. I know that for a fact. Like, because I was so embarrassed as a kid to have a mom that was so obese, because that was not that common. Even kids that were fat, like, guys, kids that were fat today are normal. Sorry, kids that were fat then are just normal today. It's just normal. But back then, you did not see these roly-poly kids everywhere. Like, you just didn't see it. Kids were, like, rail thin. Like, little boys always had kind of those little muscular bodies. They did. I always remember, because I wanted to be a boy. I wanted that body. I was like, oh man, I want to be like that. I want to look like my brothers. They all had these, like, and little boys today, it's unbelievable how fast it changed, because now when they stand there, I see them and they stand with this slouch. Do you know what I mean? And their bellies are out. And I'm telling you right now, boys did not have those bellies. And the bellies that I see in children today are the same bellies that I saw from the malnourished commercials and pictures of the children starving in Africa in the 80s. Remember all those commercials that would come on? And all those kids, I would remember, they'd always have these bellies that stuck out. And I always, thought that was weird, because I remember thinking, well, why wouldn't they be so skinny?
Malnourishment.
But it's malnourishment. They were just eating terrible things like sugar cane and whatever else.
Bloating,
Exactly. It's inflammation. It's bloating. Now, from 1999, this is from the CDC, so these are going to be U.S. numbers, a little bit different, but not that much. I think Canadians have caught up to the fatness of Americans quite nicely. From 99 through 2017, from 99 through 2020, the U.S. obesity rate increased from 30.5% to 41.9%. And it's estimated by 2035 that over 52% of Americans will be obese.
Say that number again. How much?
Okay, so it jumped 10%. Right. So in 1999, there was 30% of Americans that were considered obese, and by 2020, almost 42%. And by 2035, it should be well over 50%. Okay, so obesity-related conditions include heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, certain types of cancers. Okay, and then the American estimated annual medical cost of obesity. Are you ready for this? $173 billion in medical costs for adults who had obesity. So get this. This is even better. This is my favorite. Let me rub my hands together for this one. Remember when everybody said that people that weren't vaccinated shouldn't be able to be treated in a hospital because they were a risk to everybody else? Guess what, fatties? You're the risk. You cost the medical system $2,000 more than people with a healthy weight. FYI. So next time there's a pandemic, which should be coming, I think, nice and neatly around
in a couple of weeks.
6 weeks from now, it's you fatties out there that are going to be at higher risk of COVID, because, I can go into that too if you really want, because I've got notes on that. But basically, anybody with a comorbidity of obesity was 4 or 5 times more likely to have COVID. So I just don't understand the infatuation, the love affair with obesity. And I think I'm so passionate about, the things that I'm passionate about are things that I've experienced. It's why I'm so passionate about trans, because I would have been the kid 20 years ago that would have been begging my mom to cut my tits off, because I was so uncomfortable with myself during puberty. That's why I'm so passionate about not allowing children to make these fucking insane decisions, because they're not ready to make them. And that's why I'm so passionate about these obesity trends, because I've been fat. I've had, most of my family is fat or was fat. Not my Italian side, but my English side. My grandma, who was like the dearest person in my life, was always fat. Oh, Jessica, take me for a hamburger and fries. Who doesn't love a hamburger and fries, Grandma? But you can't eat it every day.
Well, I forget where we got this statistic from. It's 90% of disease is related to lifestyle choices. 90% of disease is related to lifestyle choices. Now, I know my health is directly related to how I live. So if I'm eating well, if I'm moving, if I'm active, if I'm mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually well, I'm not at the hospital. I'm not getting checked for different diseases. Like I'm really well. And so when I'm in charge of my own health, if I take responsibility for my own wellness, I am not a burden on our society. I'm not putting I'm not dependent on systems that we also have to pay for. Our tax money goes to all the systems in our society, but I'm not using them.
Yeah.
So for anybody that, like especially during the COVID era when people were being really hurtful and mean to those that didn't get vaccinated, but that are not taking care or not responsible for their own health and putting all that burden on our systems in our society, which we all pay into. It's so counterintuitive. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I had this lady during COVID that came up to me in the store that gave me a hard time because I didn't have a mask on. She made some snide remark under her huffy, hefty breath. And I remember going and taking a step over to her shopping cart and said, oh, well, while we're in the business of telling each other how to, deal with medical situations, I suppose I can tell you how to eat. And all of this in here is making you more susceptible to COVID. And do you think that she liked that? But I thought, you think you have the fucking nerve to tell me to put on a fucking mask while you're 300 pounds and all you've got in your shopping cart is ice cream, chips. I didn't see anything that was out from the exterior perimeter of that grocery store. It was all frozen crap. That's a burden to society. How you treat yourself, but that's my deal. Oh, okay. No, it's not your deal. Because unfortunately, we live in communist Canada where we pay for everybody's mistakes here. So it's okay for you to tell me how to live my life, but it's not okay for me to have any thoughts regarding how you live your life. It's so interesting. My body, my choice, unless that. It's so funny. No fat person wants to be told A, B, C, or D about why they might be struggling with obesity. But all those fat people had no problem telling me to put a mask on and shut the fuck up and get vaccinated.
I guess truth carries the highest vibration. Truth is light. Like you can't deny what truth is. And anybody who speaks truth and somebody that doesn't want to hear it will deny it, will project, will spew hate, will manipulate, scapegoat, whatever, gaslight, whatever truth is that they're not ready to hear. So I think we're also dealing with that. And I think I just want to preface a lot of this is not about hating fat people. This is about acknowledging truth and recognizing that how we live is our own responsibility, and our responsibility is our own health. And our next episode, we're going to be talking more about healing and how healing is our own responsibility. And when people get defensive, we have to remember that defensiveness is when we feel attacked. So we take things personally when we feel attacked. Or we're not ready to even hear truth. So it's easier to go on the defense and fight back when we're not ready to be reflecting something that actually resides within us. We're fractals of each other. We all come from the same source. We're all light beings. We're all just like mirrors reflecting back different characteristics of each other. And if we're not ready to deal with the characteristic that we're being shown in somebody else, we'll shut them down, we'll project, we'll manipulate, we'll get defensive, we'll get angry, we'll battle our own cognitive dissonance, whatever it is, because we're not ready to deal with what truth is. Truth is universal. And I think why you're so passionate about this is that we're denying truth.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. I really can't stand the facade that this charade that we're living in, where up is down, black is white, good is bad.
That's what dark energy does, is that it inverts what is true. And so we have to remember, like, when we get so overwhelmed by all the information and all these different, social media hashtags, all these different things, in order for you to come back into what is truth for you, you have to sit in silence. You have to be with yourself.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like our own stories then. So we give a little bit more context to like why we're speaking to this as well, because we're quite passionate about our own health journey and our own relationship with ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's all about self-love. It's all about self-love. And I think the body positivity movement might not fully grasp self-love. Like I think it's overshadowing what that is under the guise of we're all equal at whatever size we are, and if you say boo about it, you're a hater. So Jess, tell me then tell me about your story around being fat. And how you got to like the knowledge that the wisdom that you've worked towards, because wisdom is your knowledge and it's your experience that over time builds the wisdom.
Okay, well, like I did mention, and some people know, like my mom battled her weight my whole childhood, and then my dad is and always has been super fit. Like Jen, I think Jen thinks he's kind of handsome. Like he's got like great legs. He still has abs, kind of, eh?
He's so fit. He's how old?
72, 73. Like he still has definition in his body. It's amazing. So I grew up with this constant battle of like, which one of my parents is right? Because my dad was always, no wonder they couldn't survive their marriage. They didn't know how to deal with each other, because my dad was obviously being so fit, he cared about health. Like my dad was a fitness nut. He cared about health and wellness 100%. And my mom, the opposite. So as my mom got fatter, my dad got, I don't know what the word is, what the right word is, because I don't know if it was anger or frustration. And I know that feeling, because when you're putting so much effort into your fitness and your health and your life, building with someone, and you're watching them throw it away. And you understand the importance of health, but they don't, right? That would be really hard. Well, I know from my own experience, that's really hard to watch someone.
Well, it's value differences.
Right.
What you hold to be important in your life. And if as a couple, you have to have the same values.
100%. So my parents don't have the same values. I'm growing up with, in the 80s, the fast food craze, and my mom loves fast food. And now as an adult, I understand. As a kid, I didn't. The programming, I was so, like we ate it all the time. So I grew up battling my weight all through probably from 12 till early 20s. And then finally in my early 20s, my mom had actually taken control of her health. She was about 40-ish, had a complete nervous breakdown. My parents got divorced. My mom took control of her situation, non-medically, like non-invasively, so that's great. I wouldn't recommend now what happened. It was just not a great diet, but either way, it helped her, and that's what mattered. So my childhood, I grew up eating terribly high processed foods, lots of fast food, We drank Kool-Aid more than we drank water. But I was really active. So that's what probably saved me from being obese. I think that's what saved all kids in the 80s. Because all kids in the 80s really ate like shit, and the 90s. But we were the last generation of kids that were locked out of our houses all day long. Yeah. And so we couldn't really get fat because we were on our bikes all day long. Right? Like I would rollerblade from the East End to the North End on a regular basis and then eat at McDonald's. But I just burned like 8,000 calories rollerblading for 2.5 hours, right? So it didn't really matter. It was outweighing it. But you know, in high school, my weight was up and down. And by the time I finished high school, it was higher. And I was really unhappy with myself. I tried to be anorexic. It lasted a couple of hours. I was like convinced I could do it. Like, oh, I can do this. I'm not going to eat. And I just could never. I loved eating. So I could never be anorexic. It wasn't until my mom started to lose weight and I followed the diet in quotations that she was following along. And it was a very regimented diet of, you know, I don't even really remember. It wasn't great. It was basically just teaching your body how to count certain things. And anyway, it worked for her. She lost a lot of weight. And I'd been working up north and I'd put on a lot more weight. I was like lumberjacking. So I'd been eating and sawing most days. So things were not looking good. And I was going back to work. Actually, this is funny. I was working in the Bahamas too in the winter that first year. And it was funny because I do understand where these women are coming from, but this is how I know it's ego. Okay? This is why I think I'm frustrated with the whole body positivity movement, because when I was pretty hefty and I went to work the first year in the Bahamas, the men, they don't give a shit. Like, they don't care down there. They didn't care. They were all over me. And I hadn't had attention like from guys since maybe grade 10 or 11. So it was like, whoa, okay, like that's interesting. They didn't care. So I get women who are, and it feels good. The attention feels good. So I get the women that are fat that are like, I don't care. They like me anyway. Diabetes is calling. Diabetes Canada. How funny is that, eh? Not because I have diabetes, because they want a donation. Anyway, so I see why women like the attention and why they say, oh, it's okay, it's okay. It's because there are men that don't care, and that's wonderful. But when you're out there pushing it and promoting it and taking pictures of yourself in bathing suits when, you know, like, come on. And then posting it online and saying, like, there was this girl that posted this picture and she's in a bikini and she's like, this is what I'm going to wear to the pool this weekend. And when I walk in, everyone's going to be looking at me going like, look at her. And I was like, no, they're not. Like, they're actually not. And if they are, that's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh my God, put a fucking one piece on or a cover up or something. They're not thinking that. And if they even are thinking anything, it's about themselves. Because people are so in their own heads and so stressed out and so worked up about what they look like themselves. They are not looking at you as an obese woman and going like, oh, I wish I looked like her and had that confidence. Nope. I'm sorry, but they're not. And the fact that you're saying that on an Instagram post just goes to show that this is your insecurity and that this is you needing an ego boost. You're posting that picture so that you'll have thousands of people write on the comment section about how good you look.
So seeking external validation.
Thank you for putting it into those wonderful terms.
Versus just knowing that you are loved and you are loving of yourself. But when we need to have external validation, it means that there's still lacking. We're still lacking something within ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, because we need something outside of ourselves to feel better.
And again, you guys can all say I'm a cunt and I'm like, oh, I'm such a bitch and I'm so harsh. But you know what? It's only because I've fucking been there. Okay? I've never deleted a picture off Instagram. You can go back and look. I know in my time I have posted pictures of myself in bathing suits. And I guarantee you right now that the reason that I posted that was so that you could be like, oh, you look so good. Because I had an ego problem. Because I wasn't happy with myself, even when I looked great. And I still to this day am going to be doing work. But I understand it better now. And I don't need to have the external validation that I once did. I don't want it. I don't want you people to see me in a bathing suit. That's private. That's personal. I don't even like going to a pool. I want to be Muslim and wear one of those outfits now because I just think it's so absurd now that we're all about being naked and showing off our, like it's, I just think
we've lost self-respect.
It's just absurd. Like when these, the new style of the butt bathing suits came out a few years ago where the ass crack is out. Do you know what I mean? For lesbians and guys, I'm sure it's great because everyone's getting a fucking free view of your shit. But you know, I see it and I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. And I'm glad that those styles came out after I did a lot of work because I just don't understand the need to be showing yourself to that degree. I mean, I honestly, I don't really think that you shouldn't be able to have a bathing suit and go to a beach. I'm not saying that. I really don't feel like that. But I do feel that there's so much like
over-sexualization of ourselves, and we're not actually teaching what self-respect is and how to show self-love in that way. It's just taking photos, selfies, and of our bodies and striving to present ourselves in a certain manner to get the feedback that we're looking for in order to feel better about ourselves.
Yes. If you love
yourself. It's all ego driven because we're feeding an identity that we're trying to create. And social media is a big driving force in that, is that a lot of people project it projects a certain image of who you want to be portrayed as, but not always authentically who you are.
In the olden days, when there was no Instagram, when you were at the beach, you were who you are. Excuse me. You were just who you are.
Yeah.
And you weren't laying in the beach with 100 people around you taking selfies of yourself. Like, you weren't doing that. You were interacting with people, and who you are was who you were, not the picture that you posted later that day. It's just pure fakeness. And, you know, the respect level of ourselves that this whole body positivity has flipped the script on. Like, having respect for yourself and love for yourself doesn't mean walking around naked. I don't know how that became hand in hand. You know, like respect to me, self-respect means respecting yourself enough to be classy. You know what I mean?
Well, the more that I connect to my divine feminine, the more that I just want to wear dresses and colorful things. But I also realize how much more conservatively I dress because I have way more respect for my own body.
Okay, I gotta say this. Yeah, like when I first met you, you were always in yoga clothes, tights, which like hot, cool. Like I'm never gonna argue with that. But you definitely dressed more on the liberal side. And over the last few years, you've changed how you dress. It's shifted over time, and it's become more conservative. And I find it so much more attractive.
The more that I've done my own deeper healing work, the more that I do feel more self-respect. And how I show up in the world is how I respect myself. So how I dress, how I treat myself, how I care for myself, it's all, it's more gentle, it's more loving, it's more considerate, it's more mindful, it's more conscious.
When I see people out in public and they're in very, how do I, now I'm going to make one of your mistakes. I can't even try to say it. This is my words are come on.
Just verbal diarrhea here so we can try to.
Scandalous?
Scandalous?
Yeah, but there's like anyway, that's part of it. That we're getting there, but anyway, I'll just say scandalously dressed woman. I don't, again, like, I'm sure that me thinking this is some form of judgment, so that's fine. But it's not like I'm walking past cladly scanned, cladly scanned, scandally clad. Oh, man, okay. I'm not looking at her thinking, like I pity her or like, oh, boo-hoo. But I am thinking like, I don't think she's very confident. I'm thinking I feel bad that she's so discontent with herself, or she needs to try so hard that she's stooping to this level of dressing this way. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So when I was younger, I was teaching a lot of yoga. I was single. How I dressed, I was more scandalous. Is that what you're scandalous? Clad?
No,
No?
it's scandalous and it goes together. Scandalously clad. Anyway, we'll move on from it. Fuck off.
Anyways, when I was more dressing more that way.
Scandally clad?
Okay, stop.
All right.
Let me just
Okay,
stop.
Go.
Okay.
Get it out.
When I was dressing a certain way, it was because I was wanting external validation. It was because I wasn't fully self-confident in who I am and felt fully loving of myself. I was still seeking something outside of myself. And when I was doing that, I was attracting people that were also unhappy with themselves. Because whatever we put out, we receive back. And like learning ultimately when I was, going down this healing journey, I'm learning how to fully love myself through all things. And as I do that, I learn way more self-respect. I learn how to treat my body as my temple, because this is the vehicle I'm in this life. And I learned that it is an honor to be in this body. It is an honor to walk in this life every single day. And the practice of gratitude and appreciation and self-respect is all about the relationship. So how I nourish my body every day, how I nourish my mind, how I nourish my emotions and my spiritual connection, it's all connected to how I show myself love.
Wonderful.
Okay, so I don't need external validation in order to fully love who I am. And so I don't need to dress scandalously. I don't need to be provocative. I don't need to sell my sexuality in order to be treated or loved by others.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, so let me go back to my fat stories, my relationship.
Her fat stories are, to all of the rest of us fatties, are like not fat.
Well, it was fat for me.
No, but do you see what I did there?
You just shamed me?
It's like, no, it's just like the fat. It's just like the fat judging of like how fat people are, even like,
Oh, the spectrum of
she's
fatness.
not like how gay people are like, oh, she's not fucking gay enough, right? Like me, like they wouldn't date me because I'm not gay enough because I'd been with men. But then fat people are also like, they hate the skinny, like the people that are less fat than them. Like, okay, let me
Totally.
put it this way: if you're obese, you would be like, to an overweight person, you'd be like, well, look at she's wearing today, just because she's less fat than you. It's a different category. It's like black people. Black people judge other black people based on how black their skin is. So like if they're more light skinned, then like, oh, well, you don't have as much problems as I do because your skin's lighter than mine. Like,
Yep.
It's just so like, come on, you guys.
Yeah, so the spectrum.
Yeah.
I wasn't fat enough to be considered fat for some people, but I was fat in my body.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, we're little people.
Yeah. It started before university, but my fat journey was all about my like relationship to myself and not being able to cope. I was in constant fight or flight growing up. Like I remember doing yoga in my parents' basement on VHS, and breathing out, I couldn't breathe out without shaking. And I never understood why until I was older. And then I learned more about the nervous system. I was like, oh, I was actually just in fight or flight my entire life. I was constantly stressed. My mom was a worry wart, like that was like a normalized thing. But, my family has significant health issues because of all the stress. And so growing up, there was a lot of shame around the body image too, with my maternal side. Even my grandma, late into her 80s, 80s, 90s, she was still even talking about her body size. And so it was just so deeply ingrained, and it was passed down, that there was so much judgment around food and body size and It was just passed down through shaming around food, nutrition, how I dressed. And unfortunately, like not unfortunately, I was in a lot of sports that was individualistic. So I was a dancer, I was a gymnast, and then I was a wrestler. So, and then later on, like weightlifting and stuff like that. So I was always in activities where it was all around my body size. And, a dance teacher told me I needed to lose weight essentially to fit into the group when I was doing competitive dancing. And then my, gymnastics is all around your figure. And because the stronger you are, the more petite you are, the better you are as a gymnast, essentially. And then wrestling is all weight categories. So I was always in stressful body-related activities. And on top of that, I was in constant fight or flight. And there was just shame around body image. So it was like, and I was type A, competitive. This was like the perfect storm for an eating disorder, which I developed in the end of high school. I couldn't cope. I was struggling because I couldn't lose weight. So I was coping a lot with food, restricting to binging, and then purging. Like it was like this nasty cycle, and then I would work out like crazy to beat myself up because there was shame around my relationship with food. Anyways, this like struggling with an eating disorder for several years, and then it became part of my coping mechanisms. It's deeply rooted more in shame because it's a shame. It feels like a shameful hidden secret that I had. And I remember doing my yoga teacher training in Los Angeles, and one of the girls was so open about her eating disorder that it made me feel so like relieved to talk about it openly. And but learning about all of our emotions, learning how to love myself and to feel everything that I feel, and knowing that it's okay. That ultimately is what freed me of this nasty cycle of relationship with shame and food and my body, because I started to learn to love myself. And then I started to learn to regulate myself. And I think a lot of our emotions, they're stored in our body. And when I started to get really healthy, it's because I started to learn how to love myself. And that's when I actually started to lose weight. It wasn't around doing crazy cardio or restrictive eating or perfecting my nutrition or eating so healthy, because that's also, I became so healthy that I was scared to eat anything unhealthy. But when I started to learn, like, no, I'm allowed to like be easy on myself and find self-compassion, and like learn that I'm not imperfect then if I eat, the baked goods or whatever, chips, like I learned like, oh, I can actually just like still be okay. The weight actually started to fall off me because I wasn't emotionally storing or suppressing or holding shame in my body anymore. And a lot of body related issues is emotionally based issues. A lot of our dis-ease, so when our body's not in a state of ease, is emotionally stored energy, because emotions are energy in motion that we're not releasing out of our body. So Louise Hay, if you don't know her work, she's brilliant. She passed away not that long ago, but her work is all around you can heal your own life. And at the end of the day, everything is love. Everything is love. And if we don't love ourselves and all the parts of ourselves that we struggle with, we're going to store it as dis-ease in our body. And her explanations for obesity, or let me see. She's got it for
it was really interesting.
Overweight. So she says all the emotions, the root cause of a lot of our dis-ease. So being overweight, she says, is fear, need for protection, running away from feelings, insecurity, self-rejection, and seeking fulfillment. I see a lot of obesity, like being overweight, as this need for protection. And you see a lot of that with children that had sexual abuse, is that they protect themselves by becoming overweight or looking a certain way to avoid attracting people. So
Yeah.
it's a survival mechanism. And she's saying that the way to heal being overweight is to know that I am at peace with my own feelings. I am safe where I am. I create my own security. I love and approve of myself. Now, the other component that she talks about is being fat and how we carry fat in different parts of our body and how that's related to the emotional dis-ease. So she says fat issues are oversensitivity, often represents fear and shows a need for protection, kind of similar to overweight. And that fear may be a cover for hidden anger and a resistance to forgiveness. She says that fat in the arms is anger at being denied love. Now, your arms are your defense mechanisms. Think primal. When you are under attack and you need to fight back, you use your arms. And so holding all that anger in your arms, it's the opposite of healing, right? So it's anger at being denied love. Holding fat in your belly is anger at being denied nourishment. And that's where I held a lot of my weight is in my stomach. And that's because I was perfecting nutrition, but I was also denying myself of self-love. Because I was so critical. Holding fat in your hips. Think your sacral chakra. This is where your emotional center is. This is where the balance of the masculine and the feminine energies resides. And she says it's lumps of stubborn anger at your parents. That's rooted right back to your childhood where you learn your emotions. And then in your thighs, it's packed childhood anger, often rage at the father. So that's a lot of your root chakra. So a lot of our body struggles are because we're suppressing a lot of our own emotional pain. And when we push body positivity into this extreme view that if you don't, that there's hashtags now for fat positive, we're actually denying health and we're denying healthy coping.
It's also strange that they don't do any teaching to our society on what proper nutrition looks like. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, are we still using that same old
the food pyramid?
The food pyramid?
Do you remember during COVID how it, we've discussed now that we know that anybody who's overweight, obese, fat, however you want to put it, are at higher risk for everything. Okay, but primarily that was a huge thing for COVID. If you were obese, number one, you were already ticking the major box. Okay, but they never talk about or promote anything related to health and wellness. It's always just the same old, same old. They kept all the fast food restaurants open and they closed any little restaurant, bakery, whatever. But drink liquor, smoke cigarettes. And it's just so interesting to me that the way that you and I eat is people think that we're nuts. Your parents think that we're nuts.
Because we eat full fat.
And my mom. My mom.
Lots of protein.
So my mom, who went from her whole life struggling with her weight and then losing weight, and then she has kept it off. Since early 2000s, props to her, she's never gained her weight back. But with that said, she's a beautiful woman who's only in her mid 60s, but because of her obsession with the way that she lost the weight, that's never changed for her. So for the last 25 years, she has had zero fat, very low salt, very little animal protein, no raw dairy. God, no raw dairy, but very little even dairy. Hates eggs. What is she eating? Like everything that my mom eats is like
Low fat,
low salt, processed seed oils. And my point is that that's someone who's done, the hard work to do. But because of what our government teaches, she's not well. She's got anxiety, depression, has always taken sleeping pills. Maybe I don't know if she takes blood pressure medication anymore or not. I don't know that. But, and then the most probably disappointing thing is that she just looks a little
frail.
Like you need the animal fat in your body to build the muscles for your brain. Your brain needs fat to be able to fire.
Yeah, like when we were both recovering from concussions, we did keto to help our brains recover.
Yeah, like imagine me trying to recover from my brain injury being a fucking vegan. Like no wonder I was so sick for those. Like it just took so much longer because my body just wasn't getting anything that it needed. But listen, I think saying all this stuff but then not giving anybody any kind of idea of how to make changes wouldn't be fair.
I just want to add in one thing from Dave Asprey before we...
I hope it's the carby.
Yeah, it's about... He did a post... Dave Asprey, he's Canadian, eh? He did this post on carby, more carby, less Barbie. She's pretty, self-confident, loves tacos, and doesn't care what you have to say about her appearance. Okay, so Dave Asprey is like this giant health nut. He does a lot of biohacking work. And he said, this isn't cool even though I laughed too. I remember weighing 300 pounds. I was ashamed and truly believed that it was because I was eating too much and not working out enough. Even when I starved myself and fetishized that constant feeling of hunger and worked out 90 minutes a day, I was still fat. I felt like it was a moral failing. I was wrong. It wasn't from eating too many carbs like this graphic implies, even though cutting some types of carbs and brief periods of ketosis can help you lose weight. A dysfunctional metabolism caused by toxins, fake foods, hormone problems, and even toxins from nature was the cause. It was not a lack of effort, it was a lack of knowledge. So don't blame obese people for being obese. Trust me, they're working on it. They just don't have the right tools. On the other hand, if we normalize obesity because it's happening so frequently, we also normalize metabolic dysfunction, hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and early aging. We can do better. If you are where I was and you feel like a failure because your body is heavier and more tired than you want it to be, know that there are lots of ways to control your biology. I think this is like kind of like what we're talking about around in order to be well, we have to take full responsibility. And all that we've been doing throughout our healing journey and our work is learning how to eat well. And we try all different varieties. We've tried plant-based. We did keto. We worked on carnivore. We did... I did paleo. Mm-hmm. I used to eat fairly strictly paleo. Yeah.
I think that was like one of the biggest learning curves for me was CrossFit.
Yeah.
Joel at West London CrossFit teaching. I didn't really know how to eat. I don't think I really knew how to eat. So there was a big learning curve. I was pretty shocked to figure all that out. But I do think that we should talk about this before we go, so we can point them in a direction that maybe they can.
Okay, before we do that, I just want to say one more thing. Okay. This push for body positivity, we're going in the wrong direction. What we should be teaching people around, like kind of like what Dave Asprey says, is how to rid your body of toxins from your environment, how to eat whole foods and get rid of like the old nutrition. I can't believe we're still following public health orders around that, because that is so fucking wrong.
Yeah, but don't you think it's also too like that they're... I mean, I have a huge problem with this whole accept yourself thing. I really fucking do. We should be getting up every fucking day and saying, I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. I fucked up yesterday, made a couple of mistakes. Today I'm going to try really hard to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we doing that? Like, why is it that we're just, oh, I'm happy to be right here. I'm happy with this. It should never fucking be that. You should never be satisfied. You should never be satisfied with who you are. You should every day be pushing yourself to be the best version you can be. The best mother, the best wife, the best farmer, the best therapist, the best construction worker, the best weightlifter. You should never be fighting or compliant, I should say, with mediocrity. It should always be about being the best version every day. This is why we're full of a world full of pathetic people. Because we're told that we're good, we're special because we're gay, and we're special because we're fat. You're not fucking special because you're gay, and you're not fucking special because you're fat. You're a burden to society. And you should be better every day, and every day you should try to get up and you should try to make a better decision that day than you did the other day. And if you didn't walk yesterday, today you should, even if it's for 5 minutes. And then the next day it should be for 7 minutes.
It takes conscious effort to become the healthier, happiest, best authentic version of yourself. It takes effort. Every day it takes effort.
If I take a week off, and I'm not going to say that I'm never bad, because I am, and I feel it and I know it.
Well, I wouldn't say you're bad, but I'd say you learn when you are not treating yourself well. Like, I know, like, every day it takes conscious effort for me to learn to watch when I'm addicted to certain things. Like, I need, or I have these attachments to certain things. Like, I need my coffee because I can feel grounded when I have coffee, right? Like, it's learning that we attach our needs to regulate ourselves through a lot of like things that are pleasureful, like food, right? Like, if you turn to a bag of chips because you don't want to feel sadness, that's not okay. That you're just hurting yourself. Mm-hmm. So why aren't we, as a society, learning to heal ourselves so that we don't have to rely on outsourcing things in order to feel better, even though it's not feeling better? It's a temporary Band-Aid, or it's not even a Band-Aid. It's just avoidance. Mm-hmm. That later on in 10 years' time is going to be disease in your body. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to deal with what's actually there. So why aren't we helping people cope? Like, at the end of the day, we're like coping and learning how to create self-love. Mm-hmm. Huge factors. Learning how to clear your home of awful toxins that ruin your hormones, which impact your immune system.
True. It's true. Your health and your weight are a combination of so many things. Like if you're still one of these people that's going to fucking Shoppers Drug Mart to get your household supplies, to get your makeup and your perfume and your body wash, and you're a fucking idiot. Like, there's so many endocrine disruptors and toxins that are contributing to your weight because it's throwing off your thyroid, it's throwing off your hormones, right? Like, What are you doing? Like, everything that they are fucking selling you is killing you. Like, I just can't stress it enough. You and what you wear too. I know what you're spraying on you is not good. I smell it.
It's natural?
Okay, never mind.
Make sure it's not natural.
Okay, I take that back.
Even the toothpaste, natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Look, yeah. I am wrong. That I can admit when I'm wrong once in a blue moon. It's easy because it never happens. So there's other toxins in your body we can talk about later. But there's all kinds of all those health, all those things that you're putting in around your body. They're all contributing to this issue that we're having. If you're into fitness, look, let's just get this out in the open. We are white supremacists. Okay, if you care about yourself in 2023, you are a white supremacist. It was written in several articles. It
The
must be
Guardian.
true.
The Guardian wrote fascist fitness.
So I don't know if you guys know Tommy Caldwell. He's a local guy to us. He's from London. I think it's at Tommy Caldwell. He owns a gym. He's so knowledgeable about so many things, but he's the one that posted something about this a while ago that I couldn't believe because I'd never heard it. But it's got a little bit to do with Andrew Tate, I think, and how he's promoting. God forbid anybody out there promote young men to be anything but big fat losers playing video games. And Andrew Tate is promoting that young boys should not be doing that, that they should be making themselves desirable for women. And you know what? I'm sorry, but he's right. Women don't want a big fat loser that lives in his mom's basement and plays video games all day. They don't. So when these boys complain to him that, I can't get a date, I don't have a girlfriend, I live in my mom's basement.
You attract what you put out, buddy.
What are you doing to get out of your mom's basement? And when was the last time you lifted a weight? And when was the last time you cooked a meal from scratch and cared about yourself and tried? And this is what I'm saying. Like, so when these young men listen to these messages from someone like Andrew Tate, everybody gets, it's the perfect time for these liberal, typically white liberal women to write these ridiculously absurd articles about how if you care about fitness, you're a white supremacist.
I'm not like, I care about fitness. I'm Asian.
Yeah, but there's Asian supremacy too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because Asians are like better than, because there's a hierarchy, right?
Oh, there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Right.
So they want black people to think, they want black people to put themselves at the bottom, to keep them in the victim mentality. And then they want to divide black people against white people and Asians against black people and white people. But did you see the video where was that video that we saw about the guys from, remember I showed it to you, the guys from the 90s? It was this video of these two black guys in Chicago in 1990. And some guy interviewed them and he said to these two young black men, they were like, I don't know, 19, let's say, 18. And they said, hey, what do you guys think about white guys? And their faces were almost like kind of like they looked at each other kind of funny and they were like, they go like, they straight? We got no problem with white guys. Like they were kind of like, what's your point? Then they walk over to this white guy, he's about the same age, and they said, hey man, like, what do you think about black guys? And he looks at him like, what the fuck are you, what's the, he doesn't even understand the question. The question is just so
absurd.
Out of, and
it's pushing you it's trying to lean you a certain direction.
So he's like, he goes, what do I think of black guys? He goes, I don't know, same thing as I think of white guys. They're just normal people. Like, I don't get it. And the point of that is that in the 80s and 90s, that's what we thought. We really weren't raised to think anything different. Nobody was like, I'm when I say nobody was racist, so you're going to get mad at me, but like nobody that I knew was racist. My friend Jackie made fun of me because my dad beat me, and I made fun of her because her dad drank. Okay? And you made fun of everybody because you made fun of that kid because he was fat, but then he made fun of you because you had one eye. Like, it is what it is. Like, everyone just could take a joke and laugh at our idiosyncrasies and our stereotypes, and it was just, they've created this division for us. They make these hierarchies of division so that we can divide ourselves up over fat, skinny, fit, not fit, white supremacist, liberal, conservative. It's all just a ploy to have us fighting.
Well, and the article from The Guardian around fascist fitness, how the far right is recruiting with online gym groups, and that self-improvement is now political. And they're saying that it's a negative thing. Like, self-improvement is political. Like, first off, self-improvement and getting yourself healthy is your own responsibility. You are responsible for your own health.
Yeah.
And like to say like, oh, you're not.
But they're demonizing it.
Yeah.
It's the same as Joe Rogan. Like, I don't even know about Joe Rogan anymore, but they demonized him being a fit, healthy male. right? Who was going to do something different during the COVID era than the standard quo, or status quo, I should say. And so they demonized him. Right? So they demonize Andrew Tate because he's sending a message to young men that they need to be better and healthy and take care of themselves and not just accept what they are today as their permanent fixture in this world, and to be something that is admired and wanted. And so they're taking that message and they're making it and they're demonizing it because they want everybody to be accepting of being less than what they should be. Accept a tiny house instead of a big house. Accept a little electric pussy car instead of a fucking Dodge Ram. You know?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, so let's go. We're going to sign off here pretty soon. I'm going to give you some dietary tips from the Wise Traditions, which is the WestonAPrice.org foundation, which if you don't know what Weston A. Price is, you haven't turned this podcast off because you hate me by now, you should go there if you're still interested in listening, and that will give you a lot of information on the real way to eat that our ancestors ate and why they survived all of these years.
Now I remember. The last 3 years around public health telling us what is healthy, remember, was to isolate, stay inside, don't get sunlight. Vitamin D is not good for you. Eating well is not good for you. But let's normalize only getting vaccinated, because going to the gym is not okay either. Getting fresh air, going to the playground's not okay. But let's normalize vaccines. Let's normalize isolation, lockdowns, covering your face. But so public health it actually doesn't follow what actually health opposite. is. It's inverted.
It literally is. It's demonized. It's demonic.
So now
crazy.
So the Weston A. Price, listen to them. They're wonderful. So sorry. Go on.
They also have a podcast that you should also listen to. That's where you can get a lot of great information. But just a couple of things, okay? So avoid all refined foods. Basic. I mean, that's basic, okay? So no cereal, like no Cheerios, donuts, French fries, soda pop, white bread, Wonder Bread, TV dinners.
Anything processed.
Anything on the inside of the grocery store, really, on the inner aisles is a no-go.
Anything that's denatured.
Include animal foods. So chicken, seafood, cheese, eggs, milk. It should be raw. Okay, if you're going to do dairy, it should be raw. Otherwise, it's just poison. Red meat, fat, bacon. Oh my God, please. I eat bacon so much.
Bacon and eggs every morning. So good.
Okay, so emphasize nutrient-dense foods, organ meats, animal fats, eggs, raw dairy, shellfish, fish liver oils, and fish eggs. Eat some animal food, raw, and then cook most of your plants. Enjoy lacto-fermented condiments and beverages. So, kombucha. Do your own. We do mostly Jen. Like,
kimchi,
let's face it, but
sauerkraut.
Jen makes all of our condiments. We did ketchup and barbecue sauce last night. Pickles, dill pickles, bread and butter. Do all of that. You can have all of that. But basically, enjoy saturated fats. When they tell you don't eat, it's so funny. Don't eat fat. It's like, what? That's what your brain needs to function. And your fat is like eating fat. Oh, man. There's just so many wrong messages that are out there. It's just crazy. And we know it because we've been through them all.
Get ghee. Make your own homemade ghee. Ghee's clarified butter. So you just boil it down and clear off all the lactose and the impurities, and then you can cook it at high temperatures. Keep it on your counter. Wonderful for you.
Okay, ready? Use refined salt liberally. So, which means like, if you can get your hands on like Himalayan sea salt, and which you pretty easily can, like there's no limit.
Magnesium, our bodies need it.
Like we grew up in an era where your parents would say like, no salt, limit the salt. My kid grabs the salt and it's like, go ahead.
Like she can't get enough salt.
Like lick it. I don't care. Like your body obviously needs it. Okay, and then I can also. This one is how do you say that? Like gelatinous. Okay, so this is interesting because I can remember one time a girl saying, do you know that gelatin comes from a horse or something like that?
Horse hooves.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, probably one of the reasons I became a vegan. Because I listened to what retarded people say without doing my own fucking research. And now I know all about it and like where it comes from and like, why is that wrong? Now that I'm in the business of being a farmer, you want to use every part of that animal from nose to tail. Mm-hmm. And if that comes from within that animal, and, you know, that's a natural way to get gelatin into stews and soups and gravy. But you think I should go to the store and buy one that they made in a factory? From what? You think it's any better? Like the substitutes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like people will buy powdered, it's for your joints.
Collagen.
Collagen. But you can, like, bone broth
Exactly.
has natural collagen. Like, it's...
But it's funny though that they'll pound that back, right? They'll pound collagen back, but you can't have gelatin because it's just...
So you can, but that's you're literally, it's detaching you from your food source and understanding where it actually comes from and then to eat whole.
I'm going to make this really simple on you. Eat anything that grows naturally and anything that's an animal and you'll be fine. And everything else that they told you is a lie. Being a vegan's a lie. Being a vegetarian's a lie. Eating fake meat is a lie.
Eating low fat.
You're not going to get skinny. Hi, Lizzo's, by the way, Big Fat Lizzo is a vegetarian. That should be your first fucking clue.
Is she really?
Yeah. But she might even be a vegan. Like, that should be your first fucking clue that something's wrong. Like, yeah, she be eating all right. A lot of fucking bad shit.
Really unhealthy role model for our kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
we'll
I'm,
end it there.
yeah, we're going to leave it there. And look, you know, being fat has made me want to help other people. So if you took this, you know, if I offended you, good. Because you probably need to fucking pull your fucking socks up and get your shit together.
With love. With love.
Lizzo is a vegan.